Duel Review is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com. On today's Duel Review, it's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Oh my.
Welcome to Friday the 15th of June. We are doing the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That's right. It's one of my personal favorites. I love this film.
It is great.
It's a great Steve Martin film, although Steve Martin is playing the straight guy in this one. Anyway, in 1987, John Hughes, 87. Steve Martin is Neil Page. He's like an ad executive or whatever. And he's trying to get home to Chicago for Thanksgiving. He runs into some snow, and along the way, he runs into Del Griffith, played by John Candy.
The late great.
Del is one of those really freaking annoying people you get stuck to on a plane, that talks too much. He takes off his socks and waves it around to fan his feet and stuff.
I do that.
Just kind of ew, and don't touch me, whatever. He's asking questions all the time, talking all the time. And Steve Martin does this good job of being me, which is don't touch me. I want to sleep. Just leave me alone. I'm busy. Anyway. So it starts off, he's trying to get home to Chicago. Of course, they get, waylaid because of the weather. So they have to drop off into this other, town. I can't remember which one it is, but it's small enough that there aren't a whole lot of hotels because these planes are all getting, diverted there. All the hotels are used up and whatever. And so, he has no place to stay. Neil, of course, he got away from Del as soon as possible, John Candy's character. But of course, it come to find out that Del kind of has a little bit of sway because he's this kind of traveling salesman, and people really like him, genuinely like him, except for Neil. He's just one of those guys, and he has a hotel that he can go to. He has a room that he can schmooze for. So he says, "Okay, well, Neil, come with me." We were stuck on the plane, so he's trying to be friendly, and come with me and I'll get you a room, whatever. So they get to the hotel after, a crazy taxi ride, and it's just all this kind of topical, situational stuff, and just a lot of fun. So they get to the hotel, and they're like, yeah, I saved your room. Here it is. And it's like, wait a minute, there's two of us. They're like, yeah, you're sharing it. It's like, okay, well, it's at least two bed. Nope. One bed. So they had to sleep. Neil decides, he has no other choice, really. He could sleep out in the car or something. He, sees a bum or something, shivering, or maybe that's later. But anyway, he sees the alternative. So he's like, yeah, okay, I'll go with you. And so, Del is, drinking beer on the vibrating bed while Neil's taking a shower. And, of course, Del had taken a shower first. So, Neil, steps on his soggy towels and all these, underwear in the sink and lots of crazy crap. I keep going and going. I could literally, tell you shot by shot the entire movie because I love this movie so much. But
and he'll go into detail about the shot. This was an X shot, and this was a Y shot.
And there's just so many things that I remember, and I still do. I tease Stacy and stuff, Del, clearing his throat before he's going to, he's like, and Neil's just sitting there, trying to go to sleep. And then, of course, he, snorts the shave and haircut 2 bits, haircut. Like that, and he's like, "Wah!" It goes out of control, and of course, a beer exploded because of the vibrating bed and whatever. It's just this comedy of errors that continues, and you kind of feel for Neil, but at the same time, he's being a real dick to Del. But he's doing it in a funny way, and so they really kind of have at it, and it's out of the bag that Neil doesn't really like Del very much, but again, they're sharing a bed, and they wake up in a compromising position, cuddling, kind of thing. It's just really fun. I guess I could say that there's some bits that are kind of 80s dated, late 80s, early 90s even, where they had this thing where they'll repeat things that characters just said in the background, an echo kind of thing. Just and have music fading in weird places and whatever. They have some of that weird stuff. But it's really not enough to take you out of it. And there are just so many precious moments, perfect moments, renting the car and screwing that up, and just whatever. I don't want to give away too much because it's fun to just kind of let it you know what's going to happen, but you know what's going to happen a minute before it does, and so you're like, oh no, oh no, and then you see it happen later. And they slowly but surely become more friends because Neil's guard goes down a little bit because he really has no choice but to be with Dell, and Dell keeps getting him out of trouble, and he finds out something personal, and they just start having a bond, and by the end of the film, they're very very friendly with each other, very tied to each other.
Yeah,
and
best friends forever.
Yeah, maybe.
But the movie is a lot of fun. There's a lot of great
moments, and there's a
one-liners.
lot of cameos. Like apparently Kevin Bacon is uncredited. I didn't know that, but he's in the very beginning where they're like racing through the city for a cab and to the airport, and he ends up being late. And it's just one of those. It's like a magical time of just really solid narratives that now everybody tries to copy. It's like that's the gold standard. And Steve Martin and John Candy have never been funnier. Even though, like I say, Steve Martin is playing the straight guy. But when he goes off, it's really fun. I mean, I probably like The Jerk just a little better, but it's totally a different film. This one has the added benefit of having John Candy too.
Yeah,
so.
John Candy's hilarious. I love him.
There's some heartfelt, a little bit of heartfelt moments.
Yeah, but I think comedy has that. It's like comedy's either the heartfelt ending or the kind of over the top ridiculous ending, and I tend to go for the heartfelt ending. I think that those are better comedies.
Yeah, but there's so many things that I quote. I was quoting it in the car just earlier today. You'll get that if you watch the film. But anyway, so I highly, highly recommend it. Unfortunately, it is not on Netflix as far as I know. I think it was one of the Stars thing that got pulled because I thought I remembered seeing it on there, but
you have a
it's not
copy?
there anymore. I don't. I had it on VHS and I haven't rebought it. But I literally thought I had DVD, so now that I know I don't have it on DVD, I'm going to buy it right now.
Right.
Just literally.
Right. So you heard it here. If you want it, you can borrow it off of RJ.
Yeah. Just send me your email and $20, and you can borrow it.
Okay.
That's right. It'll be straight from Amazon.
I gotcha.
Because
he'll buy it for you, and then
I'll buy it for $10 and keep $10.
And then you'll have to send it back because you're borrowing it.
Anyway. So that's it. A lot of good Steve Martin films. This is one of John Candy's strongest too, I think. I mean, I'm not as much of a fan of John Candy as I am Steve Martin, but I like Uncle Buck. I mean, what other good? Yeah, Great Outdoors is great, but that's Dan Aykroyd too. What other good John Candy? I love this film. I don't think it gets better than this.
Yeah. Okay. He kind of did the same thing in Home Alone, where he was like helping the mom, we're the poker pokes.
Oh, right.
Right? And that was kind of funny.
Well, there is a band in this film. It's just not him.
Yeah.
But there's a moment where he's like, I love the moment when they're on the bus, and he's like, they're singing songs, and Neil is really annoyed. But he's like, come on, Neil, don't you have a song? Neil Page has a song, everybody. Neil Page has a... And he's like, okay, 3 coins in a fountain, each one... Come on, you know this. Each one seeking happiness. And the crickets, nobody knows the freaking songs. It's too high class or something. So John saves him by going, Flintstones, it's the Flintstones, it's the modern... whatever. It's just funny. just little throwaway moments that just stick with you and are a lot of fun. And it's certainly a very clean movie, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. And that Steve, those old comics, they really did a great job making good comedy that was mostly clean. Yeah,
what's his name is pretty dirty. Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks is kind
of. But
he
definitely kept it under wraps. We should do a history of the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, guys. I think that's it. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Tell us what you think.
Check out our website, nexusdigitalcomics.com, and buy our wares at spiderwolf.com. We have T-shirts, we have prints, we have his beautiful card game, and we have short stories, and we're doing Kickstarter projects, and that's it.
All right. See you next week. The new 52 Aquaman up next week.
I like to sing about the moon and the June and the spring. I like to sing about the sky so blue and the T42. I don't know the rest of the words, so I'm going to stop right there. Welcome to Duel Review. We're going to be taking a look at planes, trains, and automobiles.
1987, John Hughes. On today's Duel Review, it's planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Oh my.
Let's get to it.
Can you please say it? Let's get to it.
Yes.